Welcome, one and all, to Buzzwords Comedy Bingo, the only, as far as I know, comedy bingo game in the world. Basically, how it works is that we've got 4 great comedians on, and if you guys had bought a ticket, then you would have been sent 10 of the buzzwords. What you need to do is, throughout the entirety of the show, listen out to the comedians and how many of your buzzwords they say. If you cross off 3, then you get £3. Cross off 5, you get a fiver. Cross off 10, and you get the grand total of £20. Now, there was also a fuck sweepstake. Guess how many times our comedians say fuck or any conjugation of that word during the night, and the nearest guest to the end of the night to the fuck counter, and I've got a little fuck counter here, wins the whole pot. Now, I'm glad that a few of you are watching. Unfortunately, it's too late to start playing now, but we've got some great comedians on, and maybe guess what the kind of buzzwords might be. You write down some words, the guys that are watching just now, play for fun, have a bit of fun. You could have won some money if you'd bought the ticket, but hey, you know, for next time, don't you? You at UK Buzzwords, give the page a like. There'll be another one of these shows in a couple of weeks' time. And the prize money might well be going up. You never know. That might bring more punters in. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe I just won't do it anymore. Maybe that'll bring more punters in. Again, who knows? But without further ado, let's get the first guest on, first of the evening. It is Mr. Carl Morgan. How are we doing, Carl?
I'm very well, thanks, Ian. You okay?
Yeah, I'm doing grand. I'm doing grand. Looking forward to seeing your set, man. Have you been up to much this week?
I had a COVID test. I had a COVID test 2 days ago. Yeah, I did. Yeah, went down, done the whole swabbing and what have you. Oh, I can't hear you. I've lost you. Oh. Can't hear you. You're gone. You're gone. So if you are watching, unfortunately we've lost the host for the moment. Obviously technical difficulties. You can take a look at me. I'm in my kitchen. The light's terrible. Reason being, I've noticed I've got 7 light bulbs out, so there's a job for me tomorrow. I've also noticed on this big screen here, grainy quality, but I didn't realize quite how multifaceted and multicolored my beard was. So it's ginger up here, and it got some white and some gray, and I'm sure that's a big thing for you. So I'll try and just get us through this next bit. I was going to buy a belt from eBay earlier. It had a 58-inch waist, but I didn't. I thought that's a massive waist. This time last year, I was in Mexico for the Fiesta. Not a bad decision. It took me 6 months to drive it back. When I got back, the gearbox was fucked. What else can I tell you? I do want to go into the bits that I want to talk to you about, because I'm sure Ian won't be long. Let's have a think. I'm not a big fan of Scottish. I know Ian's from Scotland, and I've got another couple of other Scottish comedians on tonight. The times I've been to Scotland, it's a great place, but I find Scottish curry houses really, really intimidating. And the reason for that is I went in. The first time I went into one, I said, I'll have a chicken madras, 1 chicken madras, 1 mushroom fried rice, and 4 poppadoms. And the guy out of nowhere just threatened to key my nan, and I wasn't down with that. I thought there's no need for that. Not very hospitable, to be honest with you. Well, I don't know whether to get started here, because I don't know how long it's going to take Ian. So maybe I'll just go straight into my set. My name is Carl Morgan. Oh, Ian's back, I think. Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute. You're muted. You're muted. Now, 1 sec. I'm going to go to the chat. On mute. On mute. On mute. I can't hear a word you're saying. Fuck. Okay, I'm going to take it that that's my go. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name is Carl Morgan. I am from a place in Wales, sunny Wales, called Cardiff. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it became apparent to me from a very young age that when I smile, it looks like an awareness poster for stroke symptoms, and I'll show you what I mean. That's the best I've got. That's it. That's my proper smile. And to be honest with you, during the COVID lockdown, it's not been made any better. Having to leave the house, I thought it would. I could cover up with a mask, and I thought that'll cover my smile. That'll make things a lot easier for me. But unfortunately, it turns out that when I'm wearing a face mask, it looks nothing else like someone has sellotaped a pasty onto a football. And that's done me no favors with my confidence. And I think that these are just a couple of the reasons that my wife was so surprised when I told her that I was going to follow my dreams and become an actor. But follow them I did. And I went out there and I got myself an agent. I got myself some auditions. And I thought, right, this is it. Did the auditions, sat back, waited for the offers to come flooding in. And eventually I got the call. And with my agent on the phone, he said, hey, mate, because he was South African, you see. And what I've done there is what we call method acting, and we'll come back to that later on in the show. He said, hey, mate, they fucking loved you. He said, they thought that you looked just the part. They thought that you would appeal to the target audience, and they thought that you had an air of mystery about you. I fucking loved that last bit, I did. And it's for that reason that I've spent the last 3 weeks working as a stunt double for a fucking Kinder Egg. But hey, you've got to start somewhere, haven't you? You've got to start somewhere. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we live in a very politically correct world, as I'm sure you're aware. Okay, as I'm sure you're aware, you can't take the piss out of someone for anything. Okay, you can't take the piss out of someone for the color of their skin. You can't take the piss out of someone for their sexual orientation. You can't take the piss out of someone for their religious beliefs. And quite right too. But there's one thing that seems to have slipped through the net. There's one thing that it seems that is still perfectly acceptable to take the piss out of someone for. And I know, because I've lived through it, ladies and gentlemen, because if you're fat, you're fucked. People will still go in hard on you. Okay. Now let's clear this up. Now you can only be a man to be fat. Only men can be fat. There are no such thing as a fat woman. Women are plus size, and that's lovely. That's exotic. That sounds beautiful. But men, if you're fat, you're just fucking fat, and it's tough. It impacts the special moments in your life. Like people wouldn't understand. Now, if I give you an example, when I went wedding ring shopping with my wife, it was great for her because what she was able to do, she could go to any number, or any really, don't say any number, she could go to any quality jeweler. She could choose the right stone. She could choose the right metal. She could choose the right shape, whatever, any cut. Money was no object. And that's exactly what we did. Okay. And when we left Argos, what we did, we had to go and look for my wedding ring then. Now, can you imagine, ladies and gentlemen, imagine the shame when the only place in a multicultural capital city like Cardiff that you can find a wedding ring to find your podgy-wodgy fat finger is Krispy fucking Kreme. What chance have you got, ladies and gentlemen? What chance have you got? Now, I still live in Cardiff, okay? But I grew up in Cardiff, grew up with my mum and dad. My mum, she was a fortune teller, and my dad was a gynecologist. And I've always been certain that that's what made me such a good lip reader. Growing up, people always used to say that my brother had my nan's eyes. And recently, after the police dug up his garden, they've confirmed that was in fact the case. So that's good to know now. That's laid that to rest. Like I say, I still live in Cardiff and I've got my own kids now. And people always tell you having kids will change your life, and it does. There's no doubt about it. If anyone tells you it doesn't, then they're lying. Okay. I've got, I suppose, what you call chips off the old block. 2 kids, and they're both a chip off the old block. They look like me, they talk like me, they dress like me, they act like me. Okay, and they're proper chips off the old block. So having kids, yes, 100% it changes your life, but it's not until you have a chip off the old block that you can really, really understand how much of a cunt you were as a child. Bad. It's bad. But there's no pleasing kids nowadays, though, is there? There's no pleasing. If you've got kids, I'm sure you'll be aware of this. There is no pleasing them. during the lockdown, my kids were kicking off. They were really unhappy. All they wanted to do was go to this local place called Ninja Warrior with their friends and run through all the Ninja Warrior trials. But I couldn't do that for them. But being, I'm a loving, caring father, I thought, let's do the next best thing. So that week, I arranged for the local sensei and a couple of his mates to come around and kick the shit into them. And still, that wasn't good enough for them. It really is. If anything, they complain more. But then again, it's tough being a kid, It's 24 hours a day being a kid. Now, when I was a kid, you could be a kid in school, and when you went home, you could chill out and relax. But nowadays, you can't. Everything's online. It's bad. It's tough for them. So a couple of weeks ago, I was reading in the paper, and I read that video games would eventually, undoubtedly, turn them into mindless, murdering bastards, for want of a better word. So I thought, right, I'll put a stop to this now. So I said, boys, that's it now. No more playing video games. I don't want you being mindless, murdering bastards. And they kicked off a little bit. They said, okay, Dad, we understand why you're doing it. So I said, right, what you can do instead, like I used to do when I was a kid, you can play board games. Instead, use your imagination. Here's a bunch of board games. Go away and play those board games. And to be honest with you, to give them their due, they've done really well. That's been 4 weeks now, and they really haven't moaned or whinged about it at all. So I'm really pleased with that. In other news, I recently found the body of a vicar who'd been clubbed to death with a candlestick in my conservatory, although I'm sure the two are completely unrelated. So here in Cardiff, we're back in lockdown. It feels a little bit different this time. It doesn't feel the same as it felt at the start of the first lockdown. I suppose the only way I can describe it, at the start of the first lockdown, I was all Joe Wicks. Let's do the Joe Wicks workout. And at the start of this lockdown, I'm more doing the David Wicks workout. So, having sex with Max Brennan's sister and looking to buy the car lot. It's a niche EastEnders joke for you there. So if any of you got that, good work. So the wife's birthday is coming up. It won't be long now. So I asked her what she wanted, and she said, surprise me. So I told her I'd been having sex with her mum. That didn't go down too well. She wasn't so happy, to be honest with you. So I bought her some lipstick and some mascara. And to be fair, she's made up with that. Story for you. Before lockdown started, I read that Steven Spielberg's daughter was entering into a career as a porn actress. I thought to myself, if her first film isn't called In Diana Jones, then someone needs to be fired. There's a definite possibility there. So when I was growing up, though, I thought to myself, pornos had fucking wonderful titles. Okay, Pornhub's taken all that away now. Pornhub gives you, rampant granny fucked by young stud. I didn't have that in my day. Yeah, we had classics. We had Return of the Japai, Tango and Gash, Robocock. Yeah, all great films, but they just disappeared. Great pun porn names disappeared. Yeah, but who would have known? And recent news has transpired. They all disappeared. But right in the heart of England, right in the heart of Britain, there was one 20 years in the making, as Prince Andrew himself took the lead role in Big Trouble in Little Children. Who would have thought that? No one saw that coming. Now, we watched a lot of TV. We watched a lot of TV in lockdown. Watched a lot of everything. Watched a lot of films. Watched a lot of TV. A lot. In fact, I bought a new TV. And I immediately completed Couch to 4K, so I felt good with that. And we watched a lot of Netflix. Now, Netflix fucking love a serial killer documentary. They love it. But that being said, serial killers are big business now. They're really big business now. Documentaries, ITV dramas, books, the lot. Yeah. So I thought to myself, if it's such a big money business, why hasn't the patron saint of exploitation himself, Simon Cowell, got involved in this? There has to be a way he could make money from this. And I thought to myself, well, the obvious format for this would be some sort of serial killer X Factor. And I thought, well, how would that work? And this would be my pitch. Okay, let's get into character for some more method acting in a sec. It's time to face the music. It's Saturday night. Let's meet the contestants. Louie and the boys. Ted Bundy. Cheryl and the girls. Myra Hindley. Simon and the Overs. Harold Shipman. Radovan Karadzic. Simon and the groups. Fred and Rose. Kate and Jerry McCann. Could have legs. I don't know. Could do. Pardon me. Now, before what I want to tell you about a couple of things, but one of the last ones, I went to a christening recently, and it was a friend of my wife, so I didn't really know anyone there. But I thought I better make some chit chat, go and find out what's going on. So I went up to the parents, and I thought, "It's a beautiful baby, great name. Sorry, beautiful baby, great service. What's her name?" And they said to me, "Oh, it's pardon me, it's Ira." And I thought to myself, "Well, Ira, that's a lovely name." I said, "That's a really nice name. I've never heard it before. It's really unusual. How'd you spell it?" "Well, spell it like you say it, obviously, IRA." And I thought, fuck. It's a lovely name, but you can't do that. You can't go around willy-nilly naming children after 1970s, 1980s terror organizations. You can't do it. What if it catches on? What if you go to another christening? So, yeah, thanks. Great christening. Thanks for having me. Who's this little beauty here? Oh, this is Izzy. Izzy. Oh, Izzy's a lovely name. Yeah, we've spelled it IS. It's tribal. It's not fucking tribal. It's ISIS, mate. It's ISIS. Go to another one. Who's this little lovely here? This is Nay. Oh, Nay's a nice name too. Yeah, the Z silent, so it's spelled Nazi. Fucking course it is. Go to the third christening. Who's this little bruiser? Alan. 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 Yeah, Alan's a nice name. It's a nice traditional name. Congratulations on using, a bit of common sense when naming your son. It's a beautiful name. Oh yeah, thanks. It's short for Alan Qaeda, and that's the way the world's going. Names have gone crazy, but these kids have got to grow up with these names. Now, what's going to happen in the future? You imagine when little Alan Qaeda tries to go and get a job, he's going to get laughed out of the place. It's difficult for kids to get a job now. In my day job, I see it. We take people on, and it's hard. And once you even get the job, you've got to keep it. I'm lucky enough to have a job I like. I sit in front of a screen looking at spreadsheets for 10 hours a day, which is ironic because it's not a job that I excel at. But these guys have got to come in, they've got to get the job, they've got to pass all the tests, they've got to pass the background test. And this is a true story. We had to let someone go in my previous job. They came in, they did a really, 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 really good interview for us, really great interview. Took them on and they were working really well, but then we ran the background check, and this guy was a convicted drug dealer. You've got to ask yourself the question: what kind of world are we living in when a fucking drug dealer needs a second income? The economy must be fucked. We need to look at this. This is terrible. Now, before I go, ladies and gents, I'm going to leave you with one more thing, because I'll tell you who gets too much credit in the modern world is Nostradamus. All right, everyone fawns over him. Oh, Nostradamus, he was always predicting the future. Actually, he wasn't. He got more wrong than he got right. Okay, so if you want to see someone, or you want to see something that's a real predictor of future events, look no further than nursery rhymes. I'll tell you what I mean. I did a bit of research on this. Humpty Dumpty prophesied the epidemic of childhood obesity. Old Mother Hubbard told us all about the struggle of working class poverty. Jack and Jill highlighted the rise in domestic violence. These are all real precursors. They've been around for years. They tell us about modern society. But even nursery rhymes didn't get it 100%, ladies and gentlemen. They got it wrong in one instance. Because as I leave, let me assure you that there is nothing fucking grand about the Duke of York. I've been Carl Morgan. Thank you for your time. You're still muted, pal.
Oh,
I got you.
My goodness, it's not as if I've been doing this for about 6 months. Jeez, man. Oh, but I'm glad that I wasn't chipping in at any of that because that was brilliant, Carol. Absolutely loved that, man.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
Absolutely loved that. We've been getting some comments through on the private chat. I would put them up on screen, but you can't do that in the private chat. You can only do that when you do it on the actual comments. Hint, hint. But yeah, everyone backstage absolutely loved you. We get some good likes on Facebook and stuff like that as well. So what an absolute cracking start to the night. Absolutely loving some of the stuff you're coming out with, man. Some great little puns in there as well, man. Always appreciate that. How did you enjoy it, man?
I really enjoyed it. It's the first in a while, to be honest with you. So it was nice to get, it was nice to get a run out for both some older stuff that maybe gets a bit overlooked by me and some new stuff as well. So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fantastic, man. But the burning question is, how many of the night's buzzwords did you say?
Oh.
Because we might not have many people playing. Any people. I put an M in there in many. An erroneous M. Imagine when he grows up after those christenings you were talking about.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, you hit 5 of the buzzwords tonight, man.
Okay. Is that middle diddle or a lot or?
It's more than you'd get paid, so yeah.
Oh, fair play.
But yeah, you're looking to hit 3 or under. Or under 3, should I say. Under 3. But yeah, I mean, I think you were on for about 15 minutes or so.
Was I really? Sorry. Apologies.
Yeah, no, it flew by, man. It absolutely flew by. But again, the other burning question, how many fucks did you think you said?
I would say...
How many do you think you went through?
I reckon 17.
Oh, 12.
Oh, okay.
12 of those beautiful fucks came from
Excellent
your lovely
stuff.
little Cardiff mouth.
Excellent stuff.
And that agent impression that you were doing, did he spend some sort of time in Liverpool as well, perhaps?
No, he did not. No. He was South African. Okay. He was South African, and his name was Frank. Okay. And it turns out he wasn't a very nice man. It turned out in the end. I thought he was, but he wasn't. But lesson learned. And if my South African comes out as Scouse, then that's fine. The next time I do Frank, I'll try and do him as either Barry Grant or Jimmy Corkill, and it should come out just fine after that. Then.
Well, a lot of times my Brummie just sort of goes into a little bit of Scouse as well. So I don't know if it's something about the accent that just sometimes you veer towards it.
It's a warm and beautiful accent. It's the Scouse accent.
Yeah. So, Carol, have you got anything coming up, either online, offline, anything you want to promote?
So, we're hoping. So, I run a night down in Cardiff called Beefy's Comedy Club. We're hoping to relaunch in the flesh in December, but that could be put back into the new year. Obviously, if it is put back into the new year, we're going to do a couple of online events, sort of December, January, just to tide us over before the big relaunch.
Cool. And sort of information on that is at Carol Morgan Laughs.
Yeah, at Carol Morgan Laughs on Facebook and Insta, and you can find me at JohnJoe0032 on Twitter.
JohnJoe0032.
That's it. Yeah.
On Twitter. Nice one. Well, Carl, thank you very much for coming on. Hope to see you again soon.
Thanks for having me, mate. Thank you.
Cheers, man. Carl Morgan kicking off the night of Buzzwords Comedy Bingo. Absolutely. Well, we set a benchmark. Our next contestants, stroke comedians, going to live up to Carl's pace setting. Let's find out with Connor Phillip. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing very well, Ian. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. Hopefully I can not mute myself, sort of kick myself out the stream, make everyone confused when I bring you on. But yeah, apart from that, doing dandy.
Likewise. Yeah.
As George Carlin said, never fine and dandy. Sometimes fine, sometimes dandy, but never fine and dandy.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah, that's why I didn't say it. I had to quote someone else. But hey,
exactly.
Yeah. So, Connor, are you up for the buzzwords? See if you can beat those buzzwords. Yeah,
absolutely. I'm very excited. So let's buzz some words. Yeah.
let's bust some words and maybe say some fucks. Take it away.
Oh yeah, yes, I'm ready to flip and smash this. Yeah, I'm getting flipped off. That's the level of profanity you're gonna get tonight. So perhaps we'll have a flip counter. Ah, flip me. All right. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to Carl for setting the bar very high. My name is Connor, and let's get into it. So lockdown has had its problems for many people. You'll notice a lot of people have dived into alcoholism, myself included. And there is a solution. There are hypnotists that are advertising a way to cure alcoholism. So what these hypnotists do, they put a message inside the head of the alcoholic to stop them drinking. They put a message inside their head. It's a sobering thought. One thing about lockdown is that businesses suffer. I think you have to support local businesses. So I always like to visit my local butcher. And I went to see my butcher the other week. I asked him for some tripe, and he gave me the box set for Love Island. Yeah, and this butcher, he's a nice fella. So I went in the other day and I said to him, "Hey, pal, have you got a sheep's head?" And he said, "No, that's just the way I comb my hair." You're going to get a lot of nonsense from me, but you're going to get a lot of nonsense from anywhere, particularly in the news. There's a lot of nonsense in the news right now. And I'll be honest, the one thing that I take seriously in newspaper is fish and chips. And even that I take with a pinch of salt. So I'm a young man, not really any qualifications. I struggled to find a job. I was at a job interview the other day, and they said to me, "Well, Connor, have you got any experience?" I said, "Yes, I've got lots of experience. This is my 20th job interview." But I shouldn't complain. Things are worse for so many people. I have a friend who he ate 6 tubs of margarine, and he's been in hospital for 1 month. He's still in hospital right now, and I can't believe he's not better. Takeaways. I'm having so many takeaways, guys. I've been having so many takeaways, it's not even funny. And I think companies are tapping into that. So Greg's have recently been thinking about the idea of using a drone to deliver their food. But I think that's very pie in the sky thinking. So as you know, my name's Connor. I think that's quite a bog standard name. There's a lot of interesting names out there. Lance. You don't get many people called Lance nowadays. I mean, back in the day, the people were called Lance a lot in medieval times, you know. So I've got a girlfriend, and I always notice that her nails look really nice. It's always well manicured. So I said to her, I asked her if she files her nails, and she said, no, I just cut them off and throw them away. So today I thought I'd scare the postman by going to the door naked. And I don't know what scared him more. Was it the fact that I was naked, or was it the fact that I knew where he lived? Who knows, right? Who knows? So recently, I managed to get a job at the local puppet theatre. Now, I don't have any job experience, but I did manage to pull a few strings. I get much respect. I don't get much respect from some people. I went to the barber's the other day, and I said to him, "Hey, what kind of cut would make me look attractive?" He said a power cut. I don't know. Yeah, been trying to keep my mind occupied with games and stuff. Try and keep my mind active. Been playing a bit of chess against the computer, and the computer keeps beating me, but it's no match for me at kickboxing. I'm from Dundee, would you believe? And guess what? I got a pair of shoes from a drug dealer in Dundee. Surprise! And these shoes from the drug dealer, I don't know what he laced them with, but I've been tripping all day. I'm unemployed at the moment. I lost my previous job for having bad posture. I had a hunch they'd let me go. There was another job I lost. I was working in the calendar factory. They fired me only because I took a day off. Unbelievable. So, being a bit short of money, I thought, what does a man do when he's short of money? Goes off to donate sperm. So I went there. One of the people said, can you masturbate in the cup? I said, well, I'm not good enough to compete in a tournament. Hey, all those who believe in telekinesis, raise my hand. Yeah, I think this is going okay. I'm giving 100%, and that's my advice to everyone. Always give 100%, unless you're donating blood. Things are weird now. Wouldn't you agree? Things are really weird. There was a time when I would cough to hide a fart. Now I fart to hide a cough. Coronavirus. Very strange. No, I don't want to get bogged down in current issues like that. You know, I wouldn't flip and get into that. That's one more for the flip counter, by the way. I wouldn't get into that. I could tell you a coronavirus joke, but you would have to wait 2 weeks to see if you got it. I really hate people who use long words in an attempt to sound perspicacious. Another thing I hate is advertising, marketing. I think there's some misleading messages out there when people want you to buy a product. So recently I bought deodorant with 24-hour protection. That's nonsense. I put on the deodorant, I still got mugged. So someone asked me the other day, give me a funny look. He asked me if I was a cross-dresser. I said no, but I do get angry sometimes when I'm tying my shoelaces. Right now, I'm learning to drive whilst driving lessons are still happening. I find driving really tough. Those roundabouts are never straightforward. And I get anxious on the road. One thing that really scares me is speed bumps, but I'm slowly getting over them. Slowly getting over it. So recently, I found out that unfortunately I am colorblind. The diagnosis came completely out of the purple. Flip me. But you got to be, you got to look at other people. So there's people worse off than you. In fact, my grandfather recently died when we could not remember his blood type. And as he died, he kept insisting for me to be positive, be positive. But it's hard without him. You got to stay positive, you know? I think people are making end of the world jokes as if there is no tomorrow. That's scary. That is scary, guys, you know? Well, the other day, I woke up a bit early. I heard someone outside on the ladder, the window cleaner. He was shouting and screaming, and he really lost his rag. I believe that claustrophobic people are more productive when thinking outside the box. Yeah, I'm sure you'll agree. Amazon, they're a giant. We're talking about online shopping. Amazon are a giant, and in fact, they are branching out into groceries and food. So recently, I ordered a chicken and an egg from Amazon. I'll let you know. I think Amazon's okay. I prefer them to eBay. eBay is useless, in my opinion. The other day, I went on eBay. I was looking for a lighter. All I could find was 12,000 matches. Useless. Flipping useless, eh? Flip me. Yeah. So the other day, a guy knocked on my door asking for a small donation towards the local swimming pool. I gave him a glass of water. Yeah. So, word of advice: don't spell part backwards. It's a trap. The breakfast I was cooking for my family this morning was meant to be a surprise, but the fire engines ruined it. I think, between you and me, I think my neighbor is stalking me because I saw them Google my name last night. Yeah, I saw it through my telescope. Yeah, makes you think, makes you think. You know, word of advice, yeah, don't text while driving. Seriously, do not text while driving because you'll just make spelling mistakes. So people said that because I was dyslexic, I wouldn't be good at poetry. But so far, I've made 3 jugs, a bowl, and a vase, and I think I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. So I was raised as an only child, which really upset my brother. Yeah, really upset him. We're getting back into sport now. Some sports, at least. My favorite sport is golf, and you can sort of play that while keeping a social distance. So I do thoroughly enjoy that. I'm not very good. The other day I was on the course. I only hit 2 good balls. And that was when I stood on a rake. Not easy. Not easy, you know? So I say, from Scotland, like a few of the other acts here, I play the bagpipes. Surprise. Recently, I've been making sets of bagpipes out of colostomy bags. They sound like shit. As I said, don't get much respect from some people. It's heartbreaking. Don't get much respect at all, you know? So I was talking to my doctor. I said to him, "Oh, can you give me something for my wind? Yeah, can you give me something for my wind?" He gave me a kite. Unbelievable. Flippin' useless, eh? Flippin' useless. So there's 2 secrets to success in life. Number 1, don't give away everything you know. Better move on to the next job then. Was that another job interview? I love insects. One thing you'll know about me, I love insects. And I was getting a job interview to be a bug sorter, and I think it went quite well. I boxed all the ticks. Fact about me, I'm a musician. I play in a band. Our band is called Missing Dog. Yeah, Missing Dog. You might have seen our posters. Um, One other job I had a lot of jobs. You'll get the pattern. One job I had, I was working as a set designer, but they fired me. I left without making a scene. So, not working. Got time on my hands. Perfect time to have a hobby. I joined a secret cooking society, but they kicked me out when I spilled the beans. What can you do, eh? What can you do? So the other day I was at my doctor's. Gave me a form to fill out. He says, "Do you drink? And if so, how much?" I said, "Yeah, pint of Tennent's, £3.50." One thing about me you should know: I would not do volunteering work if you paid me. Wouldn't do it if you paid me. Yeah. So the other day I bought a first aid kit. I thought, yeah, time to treat myself. Yeah, time to treat myself. Got this medical condition where my penis looks like a saxophone. It's quite strange. And other people in my family have a similar problem. I have a cousin who has a vagina that looks like a mouth organ. Yeah, that's harmonica. The other day, I saw a gardener working away in his garden, planting some rhubarb. I said, "Oh, cool, gardening rhubarb. What do you put on your rhubarb?" And he said, "Usually horse manure." I said, "Right. Normally I have custard." Each to their own, right? Each to their own. Yeah. So I have a friend who's got a job. He's doing slightly better than me. He became a tree surgeon. Now I could never do that job. I faint at the sight of sap. I could never handle doing that job. Once I went on a once in a lifetime holiday. Never again. Never again. Lockdown can get quite boring. Well, in fact, the other night, my brother and I watched 3 films back to back. Luckily, I was the one facing the television. Yeah, I'll tell you something about my brother, you know. Well, when I was young, when I was a kid, I had this horrible disease that made me have to eat dirt 3 times a day to stay alive. And it's a good thing my brother told me about it. So I'm a bit apprehensive about traveling at the moment. We can't really travel anywhere. Recently, where did I go on holiday before the lockdown? Oh yeah, went to the Canary Islands. Strange name, Canary Islands. Because if you go there, there's no canaries. It's called the Canary Islands. There's no canaries. Weird name. It's the same thing with the Virgin Isles. There's no canaries there either. One thing I remember about that trip was the flight there. So I was on the plane, and I said to them, "Yeah, excuse me, can I get a glass of water?" And they said, "Still?" I said, "Well, I've not changed my mind, have I?" Talking about water, animals, sea animals, I think life in lockdown can get lonely, and it's good to have the companionship of an animal, perhaps a fish. So I went to the pet shop and I said, "Excuse me, I'd like to buy a fish." And they said, "Certainly, sir. Would you like an aquarium?" I said, "Well, I don't really care what star sign it is." It's crazy, that. Um, so the other day, I was trying to explain to my 5-year-old cousin that it's perfectly normal to shit yourself. But he's still laughing at me. Was at a job interview the other day, and they said, Connor, what's your biggest weakness? What's your biggest weakness? I said to them, sometimes I don't know when to quit. I said, "You're hired." I said, "I quit." Plenty of job interviews I've been to, and I fluff them up, you know. I flip them up. I flip them up. Flipping useless, eh? Flip me. So I went to another job interview. They said to me, Connor, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? I said, my biggest weakness is that I'm a bad listener. And the other day, went to the shops, wanted to buy a watch. So I went in and I said, "Yeah, excuse me. I want to buy a watch." They said, "Certainly. Analog?" I said, No. Just a watch. Just a watch." So this is my job now. Comedy, telling jokes. A lot of people are struggling for work now. I have lots of jokes about unemployed people. None of them work. None of them work. I was talking about travel earlier. Travel. I never like going to the airport. Not just now, I mean ever. I had a bad experience, and I tried to sue the airport. I lost my case. Mm. I remember that. I remember that time I was going on that trip. Well, there was one flight I was going to. I was going to Africa. I was going to Africa for a safari. Yeah, I was a bit nervous because there's some vicious animals there. I said to the safari guide, I said, "Oh, what do I do if I come across a tiger?" He said, "Wipe it off and apologize." Not sure what he meant by that. Oh, So, fact about me, I can keep secrets, but the people I tell, they can't. That's all right. One little fact, yeah. Better out than in. That's what my uncle always said. He was not a very good cardiac surgeon. My grandfather, and I think I'm gonna make this my last joke. My time management. I think this might be my 10 minutes. So you'll be pleased to hear. Final joke. My grandfather always said the first rule of theatre is to leave them wanting more. Great man. Terrible anaesthetist. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. You've been fantastic. My name's Connor.
Oh, well done, Connor. Yeah, I think you might just have went a little over 10 minutes.
Oh, sorry about that.
By about at least another 10 minutes.
Oh, Jesus. I'll wear a watch next time.
That's cool. To be honest, I should have been timing it, but I think, that was about 20 minutes, dude. But yeah, some absolutely cracking one-liners in there.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you've not been going for that long, have you?
No, only about 6 months. 6 months. In fact, I remember when I was starting out. I've always wanted to do it, but I only got into it recently. But when I was a young kid, I remember saying to my parents, "When I grow up, I want to be a comedian." And they said, "Well, you can't be both, son."
Never off. Well, there's a certain little show on Facebook on Sunday nights that you might quite like. Give that a little tune into, yeah. At UK Pun Off.
I'll get in touch.
Get in touch. You might already know someone that works on it. Oh, look at that. But yeah, have you got anything that you're wanting to promote at all, Connor? Anything coming up? Going to the watch shop? Anything like that?
Oh, you're going to the watch shop. Oh, yeah. No, that's next week. No, that I've got more other. So one thing that I'm doing is I'm going to be starting my own comedy show, and it's going to be an open mic. Anyone's welcome to come along. I'm a student at Dundee University right now. I started up a comedy group there, so it's just called Dundee University Comedy Club Open Mic. But don't be fooled by the name. It's open to anyone. Anyone's welcome. And if you want to get involved, just go on Facebook, type in Connor Phillip Comedian. You'll get to my page there. Drop me a message. We're planning to have the first show next Friday. So please just drop me a message, and I'd love to have you on. I'm very excited for that. And thank you for having me on this show. I've had a blast.
Not at all. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It's just when you said there, the name of your group said "Don't be fooled by it." I thought you were going to say because it's a cookery class, but you were all business there, man. You were all business. Well, you managed to say 7 of the buzzwords.
7?
7 of them, yeah. Which is quite well. To be fair, you were on for about 20 minutes, but usually one-liner and pun comedians do a bit better at this, just the way that it's sort of set up. But I will be going over all the buzzwords that have been said at the end of the show, just not to give any hints to anyone else. And of course, you said 0 fucks. No idea how many flips you said, but you said 0 fucks.
Too flipping many.
Too flipping many. But anyway, Connor, thank you very much for being on the show, and we'll see you again soon.
My pleasure. All the best. Have a great night.
Cheers, man. You too, man. Connor Phillips there. I say he's only been going for 6 months. Maybe his the battery on his watch stopped. Who knows? But I think that was a good 20 odd minutes anyway. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. At least the vast majority of it. Anyway, next up we have Pam Benjamin. How are we doing?
Yay! I'll just get out of my comedy fatigue. These were great dad jokes, but like a dad, he totally lost track of time. Time is a construct. It doesn't matter. I'm so happy to be here, though. Time is a construct. It's noon here. It's like nighttime where you are.
Yeah. Exactly. You're sort of back in time. I mean, I don't want to tell you what happens I don't want to tell you what happens in the future. But I've got
please.
I've got a hazmat suit here ready to put on. So
I'm a witch. I can see the future. Don't worry. It's fine. I see the future. It's good. We're gonna be fine.
You may be a witch.
You'll be fine because you're dead.
A witch, but
you're dead because you're fine.
But have you got? You may be a witch, but have you got a watch?
No, of course not. No, but I know what 10 minutes feels like. I've been doing this for a long time. Don't worry, I'll hit it. I'll hit it. I'm really excited to do this.
Like Pam. Well, we wouldn't have thought it.
Well, you're in my house, which is weird. And I feel like Alice in Wonderland, like this is the mirror and you're there and you have a whole world behind you and I have a whole world behind me. And this is not what Lewis Carroll intended, but this is like, they're there, but this is there. It's just mind tripping. Wow, you switched it.
I've teleported to a nice little restaurant.
You
a nice little glass of wine. And looking forward to hearing what you've got for us, Pam. Take it away. Yeah.
Well, sweet. I am so excited because Premier League soccer's back, right? It's like the most important of unimportant things. And I love it because finally I get to watch hot 23-year-old men actually make their goals. They like literally make goals. That's like what they do. They make goals, not with their hands, with their feet. Goals. A Liverpool fan, if I could get my cat out. My cat's name is Zerdon Shaqiri, named after one of your Liverpool players on a Swiss soccer team. Anyways, I'm excited. I'm like, oh my God, they're English. Ah! So I live in San Francisco. Obviously, I'm a witch. I'm not. It's been a very scary week, very exciting. We found out our president and his silly wife tested positive for COVID-19. Yay! I'm like, yay! Does that make me heartless, or does that make me have a heart? I don't know. She's dead. You don't know who that is. She was a Supreme Court lady, and they're bringing in this new lady, and she's 48, and she has 7 kids. So obviously, she's pro-life. I'm like, fuck you, bitch! I want to have an abortion. We need to have human rights. We need to have abortions. Let's not roll it back. I had my first abortion in 1995, and that's 25 years ago. And I only have one regret about that first abortion. And it's that I didn't have the kid. Because right now, I could be fucking all of his friends. What a regret, you know? 25-year-olds. Kind of catcalling. So I don't know what they do in England, if they call it catcalling or I don't know what they call when you just like, you know, the male gaze, like the male gaze, not like the male gaze. They can give you a compliment without being creepy, but like the male gaze is the thing, the catcalling. And I dress like a slut for you guys. Look at this. It's noon and I have makeup on. You're welcome. Okay. This is the male gaze. So I live in a place called the Tenderloin, and it is it's a special place, and I get complimented. Cat complimented. I'm not sure. I was walking by a gentleman, and he said, "Girl, you've been living a long time to look 22." That's a compliment. That is a straight up compliment. I'm taking it. Ding. Another gentleman, I walked by, and he said, You look like you know something. I have always wanted to be seen as smart. Like, you see me. Where are we gonna fuck? I'm kidding, I'm not gonna. Come on. Another guy, super gross. I try not to wear skirts. He walked by. He said, "Hey, girl, I like your skirt. Can I get under there and get a sniff?" Ah! That is catcalling. Also, like, why do you want to smell my boyfriend's cum? Like, that's gross, man. It's on you. Actually, it's on me. It's all over me. It's a sticky cum dumpster. I'm kidding. I have an ex sweetheart. He's amazing. Not part of a joke. We smoke a lot of weed. Smoke weed. You guys like weed? I like weed. Oof. You ever smoke so much weed you forget how your own shower works? It's hot. It's cold. Blah! It's like Airbnb-ing in your own home. This shower. Why is all this cat litter on the floor? This is expensive. There's my cat. I have cats. I love my cat. I do understand cat calling now because I do it all the time. Baby kitty, come here. I love you. Love you, baby kitty, come here. Oh, he's coming. Oh my God, he's actually coming. This is working. My cat calling never works. I'm sorry, not scared of him. Come here, baby kitty. I love you. Oh, look. He's letting me pick him up without consent, and I'm flipping him over into I kiss him on the mouth. Oh, I love him. I pick him up all the time. I love him. I love him. Okay, cat calling. That's Zernon. That's Zernon Shakiri. I love cats. I'm a crazy cat lady, but not in the way you think. Like, I want to take my cat and I want to shave him and I want to knit a sweater out of his fur and I want to make him wear it. So, yeah, back to abortions. I had this really painful period and I was like, what's going on? It was so heavy, I thought I aborted the ghost of Scalia. It's such an inside baseball joke because, like, the new lady that they want to put in the Supreme Court who's pro-life clerked for Scalia. And then I was like, it's such a painful period. Why? And it's because the entire Supreme Court is still inside my uterus. They have big benches, voluminous robes. They're all in there. I believe abortion is really, really important because I'm a super alcoholic, yay! And I never wanted to have kids, right? And if you make me have a baby, America, you dummies, you're gonna make me have a baby. If you're gonna make me have a baby and take away my ability to have an abortion, save all of you, I'm gonna need to buy some holes or some drills. I'm gonna need a drill. I'm really high. I'm gonna need to buy a drill to drill some holes in my boyfriend's trunk so that the baby can breathe while we're hanging out at the bar, right? You put a sleeping bag with the baby in the air. It's safe. See, I'm the nanny usually, so I can't afford that. What? I'm going out. Come on. It'd be safe in the trunk. If you make me have a baby, America, it's going to be like 6 and still have to wear one of those dumb backpacks so it doesn't run into traffic. My mommy hates me. I wish I was a Sid's baby. It's going to be so sad. It's going to be 9, right? And I'm going to have to be in one of those stupid parent-teacher conferences. And the teacher's like first grade for the 5th time. And the teacher looks at me and she says, Miss Benjamin, your child said you love alcohol more than it. And I'm like, this is a sippy cup filled with vodka, you dumb bitch. I didn't want a kid. I didn't want it. And then it turns 12 and it starts doing ketamine. And I'm like, who is your dealer? We can go to Burning Man and finally get to know each other. And then at 15, it just teaches me the cutest thing. If you've been doing cocaine for 24 hours, you don't eat your boogers. You smoke them. From the mouths of babes. Genius. And then it's 17 years. It finally dies. 17 years, you know? One of those speedball, heroin, cocaine to the vein things. And I'm like, 17 years. That is the latest late-term abortion I could have ever gotten. It was your choice, America, to put it through rehab 4 times. I can't afford that. I'm on Medi-Cal. You dummies. Cool. I smoke so much weed, sometimes I think I'm really smart, and I come up with these amazing ideas like I want to use my body the way God intended, you know, like save the vegans. So I don't want to have a baby, but I want to lactate, right? Because I eat and smoke so much weed that when I pump my breast milk, I can actually make TH cheese to save the vegans. 100% consent-based milk, making cheese that really melts, that has weed in it. And then my question becomes, if I make my own TH cheese, can I get high on my own supply? Can I reach weed singularity? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to talk about Melania. I don't know. We have a first lady, and her name is Melania. You see, I don't really know what her name is because she never speaks. I hear she speaks 4 languages. Pick one. I love to make fun of her accent, but I have no idea what she sounds like. It's just a Melania. It's so terrible because what we've learned in the United States is that no one listens to you unless you're skinny and pretty. She's both. Say something. I mean, at least blink twice if you're okay. Like, show us on the doll where he touched you. Are you going to be okay, Melania? She's from Slovenia or Slovakia. I don't know which one, but they both border Hungary. And my God, she's starving. Someone feed that girl a piece of pizza. It's the bread of like Slovenia or something. Did a little research. Whatever. Jokes, whatever. She wouldn't know how to do research. Has she said anything? She's the first lady. People will listen to her. What's she going to talk about? I miss Michelle. Michelle with the guns. And she was like changing school lunches and like working out kids and like hating fat kids, whatever. And she was like, awesome. And I thought that Melania would like plagiarize those ideas, but instead she championed bulimia, right? It's so good for the American economy because it makes kids 4 times the consumer. They just eat meat. And then she'll be known as an environmentalist because she'll teach the kids to vomit into the composting. Regurgitate, renew, recycle. And that high pH vomit compost is going to be amazing for the wine vines in Napa. We're going to have a Beaujolais. It's going to be a bougie Beaujolais this year. What would it do? Thanks, Melania. Melania, I love her. I'm coming up on a time here, friends. I'm going to talk about vegans just for a second. Do they eat bread? They eat bread, right? Because there's a little bit of hypocrisy if vegans eat bread. Because I make bread. I love the British Baking Show, by the way. I love what you people are doing. Oh my God. Sorry, a fangirl for British Baking Show. But so I bake a lot of bread, right? And what you do is you take this yeast, you take this dormant culture, and you make it alive. You feed it, and it starts to work, and you enslave it without its consent, and you take its burps and farts and put it into dough, and you heat your oven very hot. And then you murder entire cultures. When you make bread is some Nazi shit, bro. Vegans murdering entire cultures in hot ovens. Cool. I'll leave you on something really light and fun. Since 2002, like, guys' balls have been on the menu. I don't know. I grew up in the 90s or whatever, and it wasn't like there was, but not what. So 2002, balls on the menu. let's deal with my issues. I'm hungry. So I ask if you can dip your nutsack in some marshmallow sauce. And then roll one ball in chocolate chips. And then the other ball in graham cracker crumbs. Because if I'm going to have your sweaty nutsack in my mouth, I kind of want it to taste like summer camp. S'more dick, please. Less balls. S'more dick. I have, this is my very last one for tonight. Maybe you'll follow me later. I don't know. Don't follow me. You can't follow me. I'm too far away. I have a fetish about uncircumcised guys. Ooh, love it. And I want to pull up their dick. And I want to pull their foreskin up over their dick. And I want to put whiskey in their foreskin. Because I'm whiskey dick for real. Can I finally get what I want? It's twofold. One, I'm an alcoholic, and I like new and sexy ways to drink whiskey. And two, boys are gross, and you have to clean out all that schmegma. Thank you so much. This has been Funky and your best. Yay, England! Or Scotland. Where are you guys from? Scotland? Or wherever. I'm just making up names, things I know from the... Hi, Cardiff. I remember that. I can't hear you.
Scotland.
There you are.
Wales.
Yes.
Yeah. None of us are from England.
Wales.
Pam, you were
Okay, I'm
breaking
sorry.
up.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's all
Oh,
right.
no.
You were breaking up quite a bit through that. But I mean, we still kind of got the gist of it. Just lots of filth and lots of very funny stories. Absolutely loved that. Absolutely loved it. So how many
I'm sorry.
buzzwords do you think that you hit then?
Oh, I have no idea. I'm going to guess 2.
You hit 4 of them.
4. All right.
4 of them. And a total of 6 fucks.
6 fucks. Hey, I did pretty good.
6 whole
I wasn't like
fucks.
actively
Yeah, pretty
trying
good,
not to.
Yeah, well, that's
thank
the thing.
you.
You just come on, you do your set, you do your thing, and that was. I mean, I really enjoyed that, Pam. Absolutely. But I did wonder one thing. Your cat. Why
Yeah,
don't you call it
Sir
Nabby
Don, Shakiri.
Kitty?
He's a
Kitty.
great little buddy.
Yeah, Nabby Kitty. What
Yeah,
about Nabby
he's the-
Kitty? Kitty.
He's the best cat that ever catted. Yeah, I love cats so much. I'm a crazy cat lady. Like I am bow to your alien overlords, the cats. You know what I'm saying? Like they're, especially during all this COVID lockdown bullshit. Like I got cats, you know. So that's good.
Well, we actually just got a kitten just about 2 weeks before lockdown. It's a little shit, man. But love him none the same. Absolutely love him none the same. So, Pam,
Well,
where
thank you
can
so
people
much.
find you? Yeah, where can people
you
find you? What we've got coming up?
Yeah, so I run mutinyradio.fm in San Francisco, and it's a podcast live streaming radio hub. And you can follow us on Instagram at Mutiny Radio SF. I do a lot of live comedy, but it's all San Francisco. But you can listen online anywhere in the world. We have an iPhone app that's free. Just look up Mutiny Radio. And it's all like, I mean, I'm a fucking dirtbag weirdo, and it's a bunch of just free speech, crazy people. If you want to, if you're like, what is really going, who are these leftist weirdos? Oh, we're here and we're loud about it. You can find us on Mutiny Radio.
Oh, you definitely need to check that out, Pam. Well, thank you very much for coming on, and we hope to see you again soon.
Yay, thank you.
I don't think she got my Nabby Keita reference. Kitty cat. Anyway, let's get on to our last act of the night. Mr. Peter Wood, you've been waiting there very patiently. How are we doing, man?
I'm all right, pal. I'm really sorry about it. It looks like my house is on frickin' fire. Gotta get a good bloody light on it, so I'll just have to do what I can do.
It's not about the lighting, it's about the material and how many fucks you say as well, Peter. That's what it's all about, man. So are you up for this?
Yeah, we'll give it a go and see what's happening.
Cool, looking forward to it, man.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my house with plugs and whatever else through. Yeah, so it's been a strange time, I have to say. I went to my mum's for to basically get some. Screw it, man. I went to my mother's to get some tea, and she's a terrible cook. And I remember she plated up the tea and that, and I was like, "This is terrible." And it's a bit weird when you're online live and that, is it? Right, okay. Let's do this. Okay. So, how you doing? My name's Peter Wood. I'm from a wonderful place called Aberdeen. How could I describe Aberdeen? We're very famous for seagulls. And do you know why that is? It's because everybody walks about with a chip on their shoulder. See, if you go to Dundee, there's no seagulls because they can't afford the chips. So that's for you, Dundee. I went to my mum's, but she's a terrible cook, and I got her tea and we was scraping it into the bin. And my dad said, "Oh, do you know there's kids starving over in Africa?" I'm like, "Oh, aye, does mum cook for them too?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, mum, I just can't eat your lasagna." She's like, "It's macaroni and cheese." I was like, "Do you know something?" I went out, right, and I thought, I need to get my mum a cookbook because this is just not on. I mean, I'm supposed to be respecting her. She's my mother. I love her. So I went out and got a cookbook, and let me tell you now, I've never criticised her cooking again because she battered me with it. My mum was a bit crazy when we were younger. You know, when you made that noise, too much noise with your brother and sister, my mum would shout up and say, "Oi, if you don't keep it down up there, the child catcher from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang's coming to take you away, and you'll never see your mother again." Nowadays, you can't call them a child catcher. You've got to call them social workers. Now, I can say that because my mum's a social worker, yeah? So naturally, she does not give a shit. Scotland's finest. But she's one of that old school social workers, you know? Somebody would phone up and say, "My dad's punched me so hard that I've got internal bleeding." And my mum would be like, "Can you phone back in 10 minutes? I'm away for my fag break." Unlike these new age social workers, you know. Jimmy's just burnt down the school. I think we should just throw him into prison, lock him up and throw away the key. I thought we could buy him a new pair of trainers. You know, it's sort of, you know, that kid's just drew a big penis on my car. Oh, right. Well, I don't think we should stagnate his creativity. I think we should maybe get him an art kit. You know, 2 kids have just murdered their teacher. We better take him to Alton Towers. Just crazy thinking, is it? I am from Scotland, and I love Scotland. You know, it's the country I'm from. But there's times when I'm not so Scottish. For example, when I'm watching Britain's Got Talent and someone stands up and says, "Oh, and where are you from?" "All right." And you're like, "Oh, no. Don't tell me. Please, for the love of God, don't tell me. Don't tell me. Please do not say, do not even utter the words I'm about to think you're about to say. Come on, don't say it, okay? Because this man looks gormless from the get-go. And all you hear is, "And where are you from?" "My name's Davy and I'm from Scotland." And now you're watching it like a horror movie. You can feel the satire just dissolve from your heart. And you're like, "Wait a minute, this is Britain's Got Talent. Maybe Davy's got a talent. Davy could turn this round here. Maybe I could find my Scottish satire again." And it's so I was just wondering, what talent are you bringing? What are you going to show us? "I'm going to eat 18 tonic tea cakes in under a minute." And you're like, man, Davy, you had one chance. Another thing as well is that I love the Scottish language. I love how we use words. You know, for example, you know, when we go out drinking, the Scots have words such as pished and blutered and hammered and sozzled and swazzled and mangoed and mangarine used to be a good one for me when I was younger. See, the best word I ever heard was from my grandma. My dad was so drunk that he was making his way home from the pub, and he was that drunk that he was having a wizard fight. And my grandma took one look out the window and she says, "Oh, aye, there's your dad. Cunted again." Cunted again. I mean, you cannot get a more Scottish word than that. Now, if someone from Oxford or Cambridge heard that word, they would be like, "You must have been on like a 4-week bender up in Scotland." Like, you're joking? That's me taking my grandma to a bingo on a Tuesday, man. I mean, I don't understand, right? I went to university, right? I'm a bit rough around the edges. Now, I'm not saying that I'm a fighter or anything, but I'm a bit rough around the edges. But when I was younger, I had to fight, okay? You had to fight or you got bullied, and that was just how it was. But when I was younger, we punched each other in the face. Teeth were missing. It was blood, guts, and glory all in. I went to university. And I wonder how they settled their differences. You know, Cambridge and Oxford. Right, we don't like you, and we don't like you. So meet me at the river and bring your rowing team. Aye, fourcocks. Fucking twats. It's funny, we used to play battleships as well when we was younger. It was great. You just grabbed a brick, and anybody that was rowing underneath the bridge, you threw it off them. And if they sank, then that was you won the game, which was fantastic. We're in very strange, unprecedented times. I mean, I've been going out with my fiance now for about 10 years, and we've got 2 kids. And I know that we're in strange times, and it's not because of COVID. It's because she offered sex. It's unheard of in 10 years when you're in a 10-year relationship. I don't understand some people. People are losing their minds over this COVID. But the one that cracks me up, right, is that I've seen a lot of Walking Dead and zombie apocalypse films, right? And all that time over my 42-year history of seeing these kind of films or whatever, I always wondered what would happen if we actually came to the end of days, and it was we was finished, as in COVID, you know. Because in most of these movies, right, if most of these movies in America, they're like, right, we got the church, quick, get a shotgun, get an Uzi, get an M16, we're armed to the teeth, we're gonna shoot our way out of this zombie apocalypse and we'll be fine. So for some strange reason, Davian Falkirk needs to go down and buy bog roll and pasta. Aye, Ken. Aye, well, you got to get through. You need an M16 and that. Well, I just need a 24-pack of toilet roll, and I'm going to buy them all. Because nothing says zombie apocalypse then. Because if they come and eat my brain, I'm fine with that. But as long as my arsehole is clean and butter felt. The other people that amazed me as well was the anti-maskless protesters that stormed onto Trafalgar Square to say that they felt that their rights and liberties was taken. Look, folks, people, you've never had any rights. I mean, I wouldn't open a payslip. It's called tax and national insurance. Yeah. The laugh is, right, these people were standing, right, with no masks on to say that they will not wear masks. And this reporter says, and I quote, he wasn't sure who was wearing masks and who wasn't wearing masks. It's like, look, you're either wearing a mask or you're not wearing a mask. If you're only quarter wearing a mask, you're a fucking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. I mean, and then you're just looking stupid. I've never understood the turtles and why they even wear a quarter mask. I mean, they're living in a world of humans with about 12 enemies. I mean, nobody's got to drive past and say, hey, did you see that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle there? Oh, I'm not sure he was wearing a quarter mask, so I'm not quite sure. These idiots would have had to walk past Buckingham Palace as well. I mean, I would love to see how that would have went. You know, the Queen and Prince Philip. Philip, who are these people like walking past? Well, I say we just shoot them. Oh, no. We haven't done that since the 70s. What if we just tell them that we don't like them and we don't want them in our house anymore? Oh, no. They're not going to be easy as Meghan and Harry. Well, we'll phone the police. No. They might think they're here for Prince Andrew. The worst thing is, right, these idiots would have had to get on a bus with the rule of 6 trying to get on a London bus. You know, imagine that. 8 or 10 of them. Oh, what are you up to, mate? We're just going to try to get on the bus to get to Trafalgar Square. Oh, no, I don't think so. It's rule 6. Your other 4 friends, they can walk. And what's all this? Oh, you better get your masks on them as well. You can imagine a conversation, Oh, I don't understand, Terry. I don't understand. Right. We're away to a maskless demonstration to protest about the fact that we've got to wear masks, right? And we're now sitting on a bus wearing a mask. Kind of defeats the purpose. Oh, shut up, Frank. I mean, I just don't understand. And these people that are, like so anti-masks, I mean, do they not realise how much impact they're having on the NHS when they actually do go into hospital? But it'll be funny because when the nurse comes into the hospital room and that, I'd be like, look, I'm really sorry, Mr. Smith, but a mask, well, a ventilator, that's a mask. I'll turn it off on the way out. Did you know as well, right? In 2020, if you're wanting to have a protest in London, you need to fill out a risk assessment. The coal miners must be turning in their soot-filled graves. You've got to fill out a freaking risk assessment to go on a protest. I mean, how woke can you get? How 2020 can you get? I mean, you could see the risk assessment now. Risk, choking on a piece of lettuce, likelihood, well, very, very high. I might pop past and get a vegan option from Pret a Manger. Risk, police brutality, likelihood, extremely high. I'm an ethnic minority. Risk, being killed by a placard, very, very, extremely super high, because I'm shit at grammar. The worst thing is about these the COVID as well is that you've got to entertain your children, have you? You've got to entertain your children. And don't get me wrong, I love my kids. I love my kids to bits. I mean, they're my earth. And I remember when River was born, we went to antenatal clinic, I think it's called. And I remember sitting in the room and I heard one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my life. They was asking questions to the nurse. And this woman was like, know something? See if I rub lamb's fat on my nipples, does that mean that I want to get chewed off? When I get chewed off? The hell are you birthing me? A lion? She must be waking up to breastfeeding like, lamb's fat on her nipples. I wouldn't go hiking. I mean, she'll fall and break her leg, and the wolves will be like, no way, I didn't. What did you get? Oh, I got a bit of breast. What did you get? I got a bit of leg. What did you got? Oh, I got the other breast. There was a bit of a garnish of lamb's fat. I tell you, these hikers, these 2020 hikers, they're so considerate. But I mean, it's life, is it? It's life, and it's what's going on. Just before I go, I'll just tell you a couple of things. I've got I like to call it mental health, I guess. And you can't ever tell your mother that you've got mental health, can you? She's like, are you sure, son? Do you not just need a cup of tea and a chocolate biscuit? I was like, really, Mum? I mean, billions of pounds spent on the NHS, and all I needed was a wagon wheel. Do you know what she says as well? She says, I knew you would have mental health, Peter. I says, how did you know that, Mum? I says, well, you was always speaking to that imaginary friend. And what was his name again? Jesus. I take my boy to church now, and it's funny, right? I take my boy to church, and my mum was like, "Why are you going to church? Why are you taking your son to church? What benefit are you getting from that?" I says, 2 hours free childcare. Oh, happy day when Jesus walks, when Jesus walks. Come on, sing with me now. It's funny. I went to church, and there was a sale on for laminate flooring, and I was like, I need to get away for this sale. I'm kind of half into the message. Like, I like a bit of karaoke, yeah, I like a karaoke to start, and then I just went to get out, and I thought, I'll go away, I'll pop off, I'll get this laminate flooring, I'll come back, nobody will be the wiser. Pete's a great Christian. So I went away, got my laminate flooring, came back. This guy asked me at the end, approached me at the end, says, "What did you think of the service, Peter?" I was like, "Oh, I need to level with you, mate. I didn't really stay for it. I went and got some laminate flooring." And he was like, "Well, I don't know. I really don't know." I was like, "What's the matter?" Like, and he's like, "Well, I mean, dipping out of the service to go and get laminate flooring, I would take it up with him." I was like, "Who? The janitor? Is it the janitor?" It's like, no, Jesus. I says, "Oh, wind your neck in, man. Jesus was a carpenter. He'd be chuffed." I remember there was one time that I was really struggling, and I felt really unwell, and I wasn't quite right in the head. And I was kind of like half into the church and half not into the church. And I just needed a sign, you know. I remember being in the town, and I went down on my hands and my knees, and I was just says, "Look, just give me a sign. Just give me something. Let me know that I'm looked after, and just give me something to hold on to." And everywhere I seen this cross. Everywhere I looked. I told this to this devoted Christian. It's like, "Oh my God, Peter, that is a miracle. You spoke to the Lord and he spoke to you back." I was like, whoa. I'm not sure if it was a miracle. I think it might have been a little bit of a coincidence. I would call that a coincidence. No. Never, ever doubt the Lord's name or the messages that he sends you. I says, "Well, I walked in the Debenhams Blue Cross sale, so but the other thing, I'll leave you. I'll leave you on this. I do have mental health, and well, having mental health is you've got traits, but you can't tell your friends that you've got mental health, can you? You can't mention to your friends. All you know is that you got to get positivity quotes like, you know, just keep going, don't give up. It's not the kind of things you want to hear when you've got your head in an oven. I had a friend that unfortunately wanted to commit suicide, and he wanted to gas himself in his car. And I'm glad to say now, you know, he never ever succeeded in that attempt to suicide, because it was an electric car. Speaking of electric cars, I remember parking in an electric car park space to let off my wife and my son. And this idiot came up to me. He was like, "Well, you do know that that's an electric car parks for electric cars only." I says, 2 seconds, pal. And I went into my boot and I got out my Scalextrics. But the worst thing about having mental health is you can't really mention, you know, like your traits. Like I'm impulsive. I've got OCD. I've got relationship instability, and you should never, ever, ever put that on your dating profile. I mean, I didn't get any messages. I says to my friend, I says, what have I got to do? Why is nobody getting back to me? Okay, I'm an average looking dad with an average looking face, and I'm not going to get much views on TikTok, you know? And he was like, "Oh," he says, "have a read over other people's dating profiles. And once you see something, you know, write your own one." So I sat down, I was reading through these dating profiles. It was like 1,000 words. And I was just like, sod this, man. So I did what anybody else would do in that situation, copy and paste. It's funny, but I had to change little parts of the wording. You know, this person put, you know, that he climbed a mountain. So I was like, I climbed Everest. This woman messaged me and says, what was Everest like? Hi. But there you go. I think that's pretty much me. I'll leave you on this last thing. I had a very hard time in the past, and I was really struggling. And I was really struggling with my mental health, and it was a very, very dark time for me. And I was having all manner of thinking. So I phoned my sister, and my sister says, you need to sort your shit out, okay? Get the number for breathing space, okay? You're depressed. You need to sort yourself out. Get that number for breathing space. So I got the number for breathing space. The phone call went like this. Look, you must help me. I can't handle this anymore. I'm really, really broken. My girlfriend's left me. I've lost my job. I'm all over the place. I'm really sorry to hear that, son. You're through to breathing space, ventilation, and fans. I hope that all works out for you. Anyway, folks, it's a bit old, a bit of new, a bit of COVID. Follow me on Peter Wood Comedian on Facebook. And I'm pretty tired tonight, actually, but sorry about the very start of it. I better hurry up because my missus is coming through and she's going off her tits that I've been on so long. So I think I have to do double dishes now. Right, okay, she needs her charger. Thank you.
She needs a charger. All right, so you've been using her phone then, Peter?
And I'm doing the dishes.
And you're doing the dishes. Well, the length of time that this show's been on, I think it'll be the breakfast dishes that you'll be doing, as well as the dinner time ones. No, that was great stuff, man. So yeah, Peter Wood Comedian on Facebook, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, have you got anything else coming up?
Not at the moment, Ian. Thanks so much for letting us do the show, and I'm sorry, but no, I was gigging quite regularly, you know, before COVID and that. I sold out my solo show, which I was quite proud of. I was away to start a second one. I was waiting to do Bang and He's comedy debating as well. But It's all falling through COVID. So I do an online. Well, I write 5 minutes every week and then kind of edit it as best I can and then put it out there. But like most comedians, like I was speaking to Kirkweed tonight and Bill Dewar and people like that I gigged and headlined with and hosted with and whatever. It's a very tough time for us all, you know, and just keeping that creativity going and just keep your show going, man. It'll come through.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you very much for coming on, Peter. You managed to hit 7 of the buzzwords, which I think that's a joint top of tonight, I think, with and you said 2 fucks. You got a grand total of 2 fucks as well. But yeah, thanks a lot for coming on, Peter. And we'll see you down the road soon.
No worries. Thank you. Have a nice evening.
Cheers, man. Right, so that is the end of quite an elongated buzzwords. I might have to invest in some watches for some of our future contestants, but hey, we all had fun, didn't we? We had 4 great acts on. We had Carl Morgan starting off the show, then we had Connor Phillip, then Pam Benjamin, then Peter Wood. Absolutely, I mean, hour and a half, that's just flown by. Absolutely flown by. If you like what you see, if you like the concept, like us at UK Buzzwords on Facebook. We've also got a profile on jokepit.com. That's buzzwords at jokepit.com and at UK Buzzwords on Facebook. And we'll be back in a couple of weeks' time with another 4 contestants looking to see if they can beat the buzzwords. But the buzzwords that were said tonight were, in no particular order, ISIS, curry, terrorist, garden, Amazon, coronavirus, computer, lockdown, family, glasses, cats, Liverpool, face masks, Britain's Got Talent, bingo school, toilet roll queen, and vegan. They were all of the words that were hit tonight. Well done to, as I say, Carol, Connor, Pam, and Peter. Thank you very much for joining in, and hopefully we'll see you next time.